Hey, Shalom Amakim, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all the praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachach Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and our elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth. And as always, much peace, love, and salutation to you, elect Akim, that's out here pushing this word with all truth and sincerity. To the 144,000 prophets who the Lord has ordained to teach this word. To you all, I say Shalom, as well as to the large multitude which believe upon the testimony and believe on Yahawah Bahasham Yahweh Shai. All right, to the men, women, and children who the Lord will have mercy on in these last days as well. To you all, I say Shalom as well. Yahawah Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachach Kodash, Barakathum, to you all. I'm the brother Tazamar from the Great Millstone Dallas Camp, coming back with another quick lesson. And Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying to the flock of Yahawah Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And today's lesson will be entitled Moriah, chosen by Yahawah. All right, Moriah equals chosen by Yahawah. And, the inspiration of this lesson came by way of just doing some reading in Genesis, the 22nd chapter, as I got pulled up here. And when you read this chapter, this was the chapter where Abraham was told to sacrifice Isaac. All right, and it was a test, it was a temptation that the Heavenly Father, put upon Abraham to test his faith and test his integrity and test his character if he really truly believed in him. So he told him to go sacrifice his only begotten son, which at this time was Isaac. He was the one that was called, who the seed would go through, And something interesting that I found in this chapter is the significance of Mount Moriah in the scriptures. All right. So what I want to do, is just read a little bit in this chapter and get some precepts. And Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying to the elect. So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 22, verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac." Now, Abraham didn't just have one son. All right, he actually had a total of 8 children. Okay, he had Isaac, which was through Sarah, and he had Ishmael, which is through Hagar. Okay, and he also had 6 other children. And forgive me because I forgot the name. Matter of fact, let me just look it up real quick here. I can look it up this way. Midian. I don't know. Midian was actually one of his sons too. Midian. Keturah. There you go. It says, "And Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah." So through Keturah, he actually had 6 other children. Okay, so Abraham had Keturah, he had Sarah, and he had Hagar. Okay, and through Sarah Isaac came on the scene. Okay, and it was according to prophecy that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Okay, let's actually get that real quick. Let's see. I want to say it's in the 21st chapter. Let's see. Here you go. Genesis 21:12. "And the Most High said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman," talking about Ishmael and Hagar, "and all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called." You see, so in Isaac, he already told Abraham in the beginning that through Isaac was his seed going to be called. You see, it was already a miracle on how Isaac came on the scene. You see, Abraham was he was already being close to 100, if not being in his hundreds, and Sarah was in her 90s. So, Sarah was way past the age of childbirth. And the Most High, through the act of sex, I'd rather say, Abraham laid with his wife Sarah, and Isaac came on the scene, which was a miracle, just like Yahawah. They say that Yahawah was born of immaculate conception, whereas Mary just miraculously just got pregnant, and that's not the case. Okay, the scripture says in Isaiah the 7th chapter that behold, a virgin shall conceive and have a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. You see, and that's not going into a virgin that has never been touched. It's just going to a young woman of marriageable age, which that word in the Hebrew is alamah, which goes into a young woman of marriageable age. If it was a woman that hasn't been touched, it would be bathwala. You see, but the point is, it says, "For in Isaac shall thy seed be called." So Abraham already knew, according to what the Lord told him, that in Isaac the seed was going to be called. Okay, so back to Genesis 22, it says, and he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah. Okay, so the sacrifice where Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac, okay, was going to be on Mount Moriah. Okay, now when you get this word Moriah in the Hebrew, that word Moriah is Moriah. Okay, Moriah. All right, or Moriah. Okay, Moriah. And that word Moriah means chosen by Yahawah. You see, when you get that word, it's a root word. So when you get that word Ra'ah, which means to see, to look at, inspect, perceive, and then Yah, which is short for Yahawah. So seen by Yahawah. Okay, so keep that in mind, that Moriah means seen by Yahawah. Okay, chosen by Yahawah. The place where Abraham took Isaac for sacrifice, but also too, the mount on the eastern edge of Jerusalem on which Solomon built the temple. So the word Solomon, which we know Solomon was Yahawah. Okay, Solomon was Isaac. Okay. So this is the same mountain where Solomon built the temple too, which has a very, very heavy significance. Okay. So it says, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. You see? So it was told unto Abraham to take him unto Mount Moriah, where he was going to offer him for a burnt offering. Now, what takes place in the temple? You have the sacrifices that take place. You see, you got the sacrifice and the offerings that take place within the temple, which appease the wrath of the Lord. You know, it's a sweet savor that constantly goes up, the incense. All right, the priesthood dwells within the temple. Okay? And it's not no coincidence why the temple was built on Mount Moriah. Okay? Now, let's go to 1 Chronicles 21 and 18. All right, this is the book of 1 Chronicles 21 and 18. Actually, yeah. Let's start here. This is 1 Chronicles 21 and 18, because this is the same chapter where King David numbered Israel, okay, which was a sin. All right, you know the scriptures talk about how Israel can't be numbered. Okay, but Satan, when you go up to the top of it, Satan pretty much entered into the mind, as you see here, and Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. You see, so he provoked and caused King David to make a census of the people, which the people can't be numbered, which is a sin. And who do you have trying to do a census today? Esau. You see? Now, when he jumped down, Salakia, when he jumped down to verse 18 in 1 Chronicles 21, it says, then the angel, because at this time, after the census, what happened? I want to say the three things that David had to choose from was either Israel being taken down by their enemy for 3 years. It was going to be either a famine of 3 years, or the angel would smite the people. Let's actually go up and just get that point. Let's see. Here you go. It's 1 Chronicles 21, and I just want to read this part for edification purposes. This is 1 Chronicles 21 and 11. So Gad came to David, and this isn't Gad that's spoken of one of the sons of Jacob. This is Gad. Well, I mean, of course he's an Israelite, but this is Gad the prophet. It says, so Gad came to David and said unto him, thus saith Yahawah, choose thee either 3 years famine or 3 months to be destroyed before thy foes. So it's 3 months. Okay, so he was either to choose 3 years of a famine, which 3 years of a famine is rough. Imagine not having no food for 3 years, right? Or 3 months to be destroyed before thy foes, while that the sword of thine enemies overtaketh thee, or being destroyed by your enemies for 3 months, or else 3 days. So 3, 3, and 3, right? Or else 3 days, the sword of Yahawah, even the pestilence. So the sword that was going to come through the land was going to be a disease. Okay, it was going to be a pestilence that the Lord was going to send. Okay, let's get that word pestilence real quick. That word is the bar, pestilence, plague. So it was going to be a plague that the Lord was going to send throughout the land, right? It says even the pestilence in the land, and the angel of Yahawah destroying throughout all the coast of Israel. Now therefore advise thyself what word I shall bring again to him that sent me. And that's heavy, man. David had to choose one of the 3 options, either 3 years, 3 years famine, 3 months of being taken down by the enemy, or 3 days of a pestilence. And then, of course, King David chose the pestilence. All right, but just, that's another lesson for another day. I just want to read that for edification purposes. But jumping down to verse 18, then the angel of Yahawah commanded Gad to say to David, that David should go up and set up an altar unto Yahawah in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. See, so he was supposed to go up to the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite to build and set up an altar. And what takes place on the altar? The sacrifice. You see? And it was going to go on the threshing floor of Ornan. And I'm just curious to see what the name Ornan means. That word Ornan is Aranun. Okay? Or Aran. All right? Aranun. Or Arnun, right? Ornan equals light was perpetuated. Light was perpetuated. Light was kept alive. Make something, typically an undesirable situation or an unfound belief, continue indefinitely. So the light was kept alive. You see? And it makes me think about what in the temple, the candlestick was to always consistently be burning. Now that makes me think of a precept of Yahawah. What did he say? Let your lights be burning. You see, what does the light represent? The truth, the law. The law is a lamp that guides you in the darkness, like it tells you in Proverbs 6. Right? So just jumping back, verse 19. And David went up at the saying of Gad, which he spake in the name of Yahawah. See, Gad spake in the name of the Lord that commanded King David, to set up this altar. Right now, we're going to jump down for the sake of time to verse 26, because he consulted with Ornan, and he pretty much bought the threshing floor from Ornan. Right. Verse 26, it says, and David built there an altar unto Yahawah, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings, and called upon Yahawah. And he answered him from heaven, by fire upon the altar of the burnt offering. You see, so that he answered King David by fire. So he sent a fire from heaven upon the altar to burn for the sacrifice, man. You know, fire probably came out from the chariot and consumed the offering, man. You see, that's why we're building the house of David, and the Lord has made us to be kings and priests. Because David built the altar there. You see, and the sacrifice took place on the same threshing floor, which the threshing floor of Arnon is the same place as Mount Moriah. Okay? I'm going to say that again. The threshing floor of Arnon, where King David was commanded to build the altar, was the same place as Mount Moriah, where Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac, and the sacrifice was stopped by the angel because it wasn't that time. And also, too, whenever you read in Genesis 22, I'm going to actually go back there, and I'll get it in this one here. When you read in Genesis 22, I'm going to just jump down here to verse 5. And Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. So now you got to think in this particular situation. Abraham was told to sacrifice his son Isaac, right? But he told the men who went with him and Isaac to sacrifice to stay with the ass, the donkeys, right? And he said, what? I and the lad, we're going to go worship, but we are going to come back again to you. So he already knew in his mind that, look, through Isaac is my seed going to be called. Through Isaac, it's through him the seed is going to be called. But the Lord is telling me that I'm going to sacrifice my son. The only way that this is going to take place is that if I sacrifice my child, the Lord is going to raise him from the dead. That's the only way. And that shows you the faith that Abraham had, man. Abraham's faith was on a level, extreme amounts of faith. What was going through Abraham's mind was the fact that the Lord was going to raise Abraham up from the dead. The Lord was going to raise Isaac from the dead, even if he completed the sacrifice. That's why he said, look, we're going to come back to you again, right? Very, very coincidental, right? And then verse 27, it says back in 1 Chronicles 21, and Yahawah commanded the angel, and he put up his sword again into the sheath thereof. So the angel was getting busy, right? At that time, when David saw that Yahawah had answered him in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite, then he sacrificed there. You see? He began to offer sacrifice there. That's where the sacrifice began to take place. It was on the threshing floor of Ornan, which is also the Mount Moriah, right? It says, for the tabernacle of Yahawah, which Moses made in the wilderness, and the altar of the burnt offering were at the season in the high place of Gibeon. So this is where the tabernacle was still dwelling. It was still within tents. See? Now let's jump to the 22nd chapter and read verse 1. Then David said, this is the house of Yahawah, this is the house of Yahawah power, and this is the altar of the burnt offering for Israel. So the house of the Lord and the offering was going to take place upon this particular plot of land, which is on Mount Moriah. This is where the sacrifice and the offering was going to take place. As we read here in the NLT, then David said, this will be the location for the temple of Yahawah power in the place of the altar of Israel's burnt offerings. This was going to be where it was because what happened? Yahawah sent fire from the heaven and burnt up the offering, which proved, it proved that that it was not vindicated. That's the wrong word. It was authenticated by the Heavenly Father that this was the place where the offering was going to take place. You see that? Was on this particular plot of land, which is Mount Moriah. Okay. Now let's go to Second Chronicles chapter 3, verse 1. Right? Now we're on the time of Solomon. Okay? It says, then Solomon began to build the house. Then Solomon, which is the son of David, which we know in the spirit that Solomon is Yahawah, alluding to 2 Samuel, the 7th chapter, right? Then Solomon began to build the house of Yahawah at Jerusalem in Mount Moriah, where Yahawah appeared unto David his father, right? In the place that David had prepared in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. So it's proven that that Mount Moriah is the same place of Ornan the Jebusite, the threshing floor. And what does Ornan mean? The light will be perpetuated. That's where Solomon began to build the temple, the physical temple, the beautified temple. Okay? Now, hopefully y'all are staying with me, but just keep all these things in mind. Now, this is Genesis 22:8. I'm going to jump down. Okay? Actually, start at verse 7. And Isaac spake, because, they were walking, and, he bore the wood. Actually, you know what? Let's get that. And this is very spiritual. Genesis 22:6. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. So the wood of the burnt offering where the sacrifice would take place, he laid the wood upon Isaac his son. He laid it upon him. Isaac had to bear the wood. He had to bear the wood for the sacrifice. Very, very, very coincidental, correct? Now we're going to get a quick precept. Let's get the book of John, chapter 19. I want to say it's 19 or 14, if I'm not mistaken. No, not 14. Is it 19? I think it's in John 19. Here you go. This is John chapter 19. Let's start at verse 16. It says, Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified, talking about Yahawah. And they took Yahawah and led him away. And he bearing his cross went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha. So what did Yahawah have to do? Yahawah had to bear his cross. He had to physically, Yahawah had to physically bear his cross, man. You see? He had to physically bear his cross and take his cross up to the hill of Golgotha. So Yahawah had to bear his cross, which was made out of wood. See that? So going back, Genesis 22:6, and Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. He laid it upon his shoulders, right? And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? So Isaac, okay, we got the wood, we got the fire, we got the knife to do, to prepare the sacrifice, but where's the lamb? Isaac trying to put two and two together, hold up a second, where's the, where's the lamb at, right? Verse 8, and Abraham said, My son, the Most High will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. You see, so he told him, look, the Most High is going to provide us for a lamb. Let's read it again. It says, and Abraham said, My son, the Most High will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. He will provide a lamb. You see that? So they went both of them together. So he told him, look, the Most High is going to provide us. He's going to provide the sacrifice. He's going to provide the lamb, which ultimately that lamb that was going to be slain from the foundation of the earth is who? It's Yahawah, which was provided by Yahawah from the beginning. He is the sacrificial lamb for us, man. Okay, let's get the book of John, chapter 1, verse 29. Okay, the book of St. John, chapter 1, verse 29. All right. And this is when John the Baptist has seen Yahawah, right? It says the next day John seeth Yahawah coming unto him, and saith, Behold the Lamb of the Most High, which taketh away the sin of the world. You see, so John or Yachanan seen Yahawah and said, look, this is the Lamb that's going to take away the sin of the world. Because what took away sin? Okay, what took away sin was blood. Blood had to be shed in order to take away for your transgression or your iniquity, which is the reason why we would sacrifice. You see, it had to be the blood of a lamb, the blood of a goat, the blood of a turtle dove, and that sacrifice and that blood had to be shed. So Yahawah being the ultimate sacrifice for us was that unblemished lamb. Like during the Passover, you had to have an unblemished lamb of a year old whose blood had to be shed and put upon the doorpost so that the destroyer didn't come through and destroy you. Yahawah is that lamb. He is that sacrifice, as well as Yahawah being Isaac. If you can receive it, if you have ears to hear, let him hear, right? Now let's jump down to verse 36. Verse 35, it says, Again the next day after John stood and two of his disciples, and looking upon Yahawah as he walked, he saith, Behold the Lamb of the Most High. So now John the Baptist was with, because John the Baptist had disciples too. Now did John the Baptist and his disciples, did they confront Yahawah as if he was a fraud? No, John the Baptist had the followers, and John reverenced Yahawah. He was like, man, look, this is the Lamb of the Most High. You see? As it says, and looking upon Yahawah as he walked, he saith, Behold the Lamb of the Most High. Did not Abraham say what? The Most High will provide a lamb. Hey, man. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. That's all I'm going to say, right? Now, I'm gonna jump to the second chapter of the book of John, and I'm going to start at verse 19 and read through verse 21, right? John chapter 2, verse 19. Yahawah answered and said unto them, Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. See, he said, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. 3 days? 3 days. Very, very, very heavy. Let me see something real quick. Now, I'm not sitting there saying this is the case, but I'm just curious. Let me see something real quick. Let's see, Genesis 22. Salakia. Hold on 1 second. I'm looking at my Bible dictionary or something real quick. Just curious. 3 days while I raise it up. BQRS. Let's see. Whoo! Hey, that's the spirit. Hey. Hey, man, call halal Yahawah Shem Yahawah. So I'm in my Bible dictionary, and I'll take a, man, I wish I could take a picture of it and show y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it'll work. But, I'm going to just read it. You can find it yourself. If you got a Bible dictionary, just go to the word Moriah in the Bible dictionary. It says, place where Abraham was told to offer up Isaac. It was about a 3 days journey from Beersheba, where Abraham was living when given the command. So it took 3 days from where Abraham was living to get to Moriah. It took 3 days from where Abraham was living to get to Moriah. 3 days. And what did Yahawah say? Yahawah answered and said unto them, Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. And it's always significance with the number 3. Now, was he talking about the physical temple here? No, he was talking about his body. That's why the Jews said that he blasphemed, because he said that he was going to destroy the temple and in 3 days will be risen up. When he was talking, he was going over their heads. Verse 20. Then said the Jews, 40 and 6 years was a temple. 40 and 6 years was a temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? Right. So he's like, man, the Jews like, man, look, it took 46 years to build this temple, man. So you trying to tell me that the temple going to be destroyed in 3 days, going to be risen back up? This man speaking blasphemy. You got to put yourself there and you got to put yourself there and see it, right? Sounded crazy, but Yahawah was going way over their heads. He was talking about his body. But he spake of the temple of his body. You see that? He spake of the temple of his body. Okay? Now, Yahawah was lied on and accused on what day? He was accused on the Passover. What takes place at the Passover? The sacrificial lamb is sacrificed and the blood is shed at the temple, which the temple dwelt on Mount Moriah. The temple dwelt on Mount Moriah, where Moriah is what? Seen by Yahawah, chosen by Yahawah. Now, real quick, let's get the book of Matthew, the 3rd chapter, and we'll get verse 17. Start at verse 16. And Yahawah, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water. And lo, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw the Spirit of the Most High descending like a dove and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice from heaven saying, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. You see, so the chariot came, and the voice of Yahawah authenticated that this was the one. This man here that you baptized in John, this is the one. Just like King David, when he built that altar, Yahawah authenticated that this was the place where the temple was laid, because a fire came down from heaven to subdue or to burn the offering, man, on Mount Moriah, the same place where Isaac was going to be sacrificed. You see how everything is coming together? See that? Now we're going to end it off on this one. It's the book of Hebrews 11 and 17. Okay? I'm sorry, is it Hebrews 11 and 17? Here we go. Yeah, Hebrews 11 and 17. It says, by faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac. And we just read that in Genesis 22. He was tried, he was tested, his faith was tested, he offered up Isaac. And he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. Now, real quick, right? Let's just type in only begotten real quick. Only begotten son. John 1 and 18. No man hath seen the Most High at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, hath he declared him. Talking about Yahawah. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. John 3 and 16, talking about Yahawah, in the world of Israel, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Only begotten Son, when you put it up here, is only talking about Yahawah. So this is Yahawah. And in the reincarnation, it says, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten Son, talking about Abraham received the promises, right? Of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. As you read here in the NLT, even though the Most High had told him, Isaac is the son through whom your descendants will be counted. So Abraham knew that the seed, which would be multiplied as the stars of heaven and as the sands of the sea, would be through Isaac. He knew that. So it didn't matter of what the Heavenly Father, even if he went through and sacrificed, he knew through him, through Isaac, is my seed is the seed gonna be called, because it's what the Lord promised me. He knew it. Verse 19, check this out. Accounting that the Most High was able to raise him up even from the dead. Now, who was raised up from the dead? Yahawah was raised from the dead, right? From whence also he received him in a figure. He received him in a figure. Who's that figure? Yahawah. This is proven reincarnation right here. Vocab. That word figure in the Greek is parabole. Parabole, where you get the word parable from, right? And this word here means, Salaki, let me get the other one. This word parable means what? Let's see. An act by which one exposes himself or his possessions to danger, a venture, or a risk. You see that? You expose yourself to peril, danger, or risk. And that was a man, for the Most High to tell you, look, you're going to offer your only begotten son up. Even though I said that through him is going to come the sacrifice, Abraham was like, okay, well, if I do this, hey, he's just going to raise him from the dead. Metaphorically, a comparison of one thing with another, a likeness, a similitude. A likeness or similitude to who? Yahawah, because Isaac was Yahawah in the reincarnation, man. Let's end it off on this one. Matthew chapter 1, verse 2. Abraham, let's start at verse 1. The book of the generation of Yahawah Mashiach, the son of David, who was the son of David? Solomon. The son of Abraham. Who was the son of Abraham? Isaac. See that? Proven that that's him. Okay? He was vindicated. He was authenticated by Yahawah to be the ultimate sacrifice on Mount Moriah. He is the temple. We are the temple. You see that? So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawah Bahasham Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Shalom.